can't believe I'm here talking about Mohammed Kudus again, but I cannot let this go. This cannot be avoided. I said I'd do today. I would do a video about Naif Gerd, and I sort of will. I will stick to that because I did want to speak about that. And in a way, we can talk about this in the terms of West Ham's stance on Naif Gerd, and now we lack the consistency that we've had. I touched on it yesterday, but we've lacked the consistency with what we've demanded of Gerd, with what we're demanding of Mohammed Kudus. Gerd's getting away with a lot less than Kudus is. And I quite like the stance that West Ham are taking with it. And I wish we would replicate that with Kudus, basically. By basically saying, you're coming back Monday, pre-season training, Rush Green, you're coming back. There's been no deal that has even remotely come close. Look, we'll get to that in a bit. What I'm about to discuss now, I don't even believe... The first time I heard it, I didn't believe it. Let me tell you the story. So, I know somebody that writes for a Tottenham website, all right? Like the Tottenham version of Hammers News, right? I've known him for a few years. And because West Ham don't really do deals with Tottenham, we don't really talk about that type of stuff. We tend to talk twice a season when we play each other. Get a lowdown, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. But we've been talking quite a lot over the last few days because for the first time in a long time, it looks like West Ham and Tottenham are going to do some transfer business. So, he's phoning up and he's saying, what have you heard? What do you know? How good is Kudus? He's obviously a Tottenham fan. And anyway, so today, actually, as I recorded this yesterday, he phoned me up and he said, what do you think about this Tottenham tax? I said, what? He said, Tottenham tax. Any truth in this Tottenham tax? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? He said, well, the fact that West Ham are making Tottenham pay more than any other club because they're Tottenham. So I laughed. I laughed. It's don't get me wrong. Let me make this... We better do the caveat here. I would defend West Ham's right to charge Tottenham more, right? In fact, I think we shouldn't. I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to be petty with Tottenham, all right? I'm quite happy not to sell him at all to Tottenham. So I'm not trying to elevate myself to say I wouldn't be petty. I would. I just don't believe that's what's going on. So anyway, I laughed. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I thought that was it. Until I started to see it started. I don't know if trending is the right word, but it started popping up on social media quite a lot. And then a respected journalist, Ben Jacobs, we've discussed him before. So this is hours afterwards, right? Ben Jacobs wrote a tweet about a Tottenham tax. The theory, and you've got to say theory, it's bloody conspiracy theory, that's what it is. So the conspiracy theory was exactly what I'd heard earlier. That West Ham, because of the rivalry, because of the transfer embargo, I guess because of the angst between David Sullivan and Daniel Levy, because of the London rivalry. Well, it can't be the London rivalry because it's nonsense. The whole thing is nonsense, but it can't be London rivalry because part of the theory, conspiracy theory, was that we'd sell him to Chelsea for less, right? But anyway, because of that, we were gonna charge Tottenham more. And let me make this absolutely clear now. Here's what is happening, right? Daniel Levy does not want to pay the price for Mohammed Kudus. And rather than just pay the price, he's playing the victim, and it seems like Tottenham are briefing the press. Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. West Ham are not playing ball. West Ham are not playing nice. They're going to try and charge us more. But the fact of the matter is they don't want to... They don't want to pay the price for Mohammed Kudus. This should be the easiest deal in the world, right? I mean, we all want something we can't afford, right? I'd like a holiday in the Bahamas for the price of a Butlins holiday. It ain't going to happen. Maybe that's a bad comparison, but you know what I mean. Here's why it's so easy. Mohammed Kudus wants to leave West Ham. there's normally 3 or 4 things that have got to happen in a transfer, right? He wants to leave West Ham. He's got a new agent who Tottenham have been speaking with, right? So 2 of the biggest things are out of the way. Tottenham want him. That's thing number 3. So the one thing that can hold any transfer up is, are you going to be able to haggle with the selling club? Are you going to be able to buy him? Maybe they won't sell him at all. Well, that is out the window. Because lucky old Tottenham and anybody else, Mohammed Kudus has a buyout clause. It's in his contract. And the buyout clause is £85 million for Premier League teams. So actually West Ham can't say no. Tottenham can get the deal done now. That is not what I was going to say. That is not a ratcheted. That's not a ratcheted valuation. Actually, it is. European teams, it's stipulated in the contract, 80 million. Saudi teams, 120 million. But certainly the price is the same for Tottenham as it is for every other Premier League team. And it's preposterous. But anyway, here's where it is. West Ham know nobody's going to pay the buyout clause, right? West Ham know that. But privately, and it's been leaked out, that actually they would accept 65, 70 million. Now, you all know, look, if I want to sell you this phone, and I'm going to tell you I'd accept 150, 200 quid for this phone, I won't. You're going to bid 150 quid, right? It's the lowest one is what you're going for. That's just how it works, yeah? So it's 65 million. And I think that's common knowledge. What Tottenham have bid is 55 million. So I don't see how they can have any complaint at all that there's some victimisation, there's some extra tax, Tottenham tax. Honestly, search it, Tottenham tax. Oh, no, you shouldn't get him. You can't get him for 50 million because that's not his price. And we get back to what I was saying, and what I was saying in yesterday's video. It just gets to the point, forget it. I used to say the same with Declan Rice. When it was rumoured that Declan Rice for 50, 60 million, forget it. Forget it. He still had 2 years left on his contract. You know what? We'll keep him for another year because we'd still get £50 million for him with a year left on his contract. He was that good. Well, we might as well keep him. He would make the difference. He makes that much difference. He was that good a player. And Kudus is a brilliant player. Crap last season, brilliant the one before. I think he'll get back to... I said all this yesterday, though. But if the fee becomes so low, this is where West Ham have to take that knife of gird stance. Which is, look, mate. West Ham and Kudus would have both signed that contract in good faith. In good faith. And the faith would have been, you come here, you're going to play for us, you sign for us, but we will agree to this buyout clause. I'm quite sure that was a negotiation. I'm quite sure West Ham wanted it to be 100 million. I'm quite sure Kudus wanted it to be 50 million. In the end, they agreed on what it was, 85 million. But you can't have a complaint if that is not met. I mean, you can understand that. As a player, you would surely be able to understand that. And I've not heard a single thing that Kudus is kicking off, by the way. Not a single thing. But there comes a point as the club that holds his registration with pre-season just around the corner where you just say, no, I'm sorry, mate. And it was always going to be like this with Daniel Levy. It was always... Did we know exactly how it was going to play out? No. Did we know there was going to be a plea of conspiracy and separate tiered, ratcheted pricing? We didn't know that, but we knew he was going to be an awkward so-and-so. We all did. Because that's what he's like. He's got a reputation for it. West Ham's owners have got reputations. Tottenham's owners have got a separate reputation. You put the two of them together, this was never going to be a deal that got done without any drama. And I think Levy's chancing his arm. I think Levy's... Basically, the problem in all this is the thing. What's that thing? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck, right? I think this about most conspiracy theories. They're so outlandish, they're so out there, that actually usually the most common sense reason is what's happening. The thing that makes most sense. I don't think Tottenham. I don't think West Ham care. Us as West Ham fans, we would rather not see Kudus in a Tottenham shirt, right? Don't want to see that. It's not been very nice watching Declan Rice in an Arsenal one. It's not only is it not nice in being in the Arsenal shirt, but they wind you up on social media, don't they? They're constantly at it. Tottenham fans would be, they always say, "Oh, we don't care about you. We're your cup final," and they make out they're not rivals. Of course they're our rivals. Are West Ham Tottenham's biggest rivals? No, but we're London rivals. We are that. So as West Ham fans, we don't want to see them. They'll never let us forget it. So I think as a West Ham fan, it's we don't want to do them any favours. We don't like them. They don't like us. And so why give them one of our better players? I think David Sullivan thinks like that. I don't think. I think whoever pays that 65 million, whether it's Todd Boehly at Chelsea or Daniel Levy at Spurs, I don't think ultimately he cares. I will maintain, I do think that Graham Potter has probably said, yeah, okay, you can go. It was very clear. We're very clear on who wasn't for sale. And he wasn't on there. And to be fair, I think Potter and Lopetegui both struggled to find a place for him in the team. But what is more likely for Daniel Levy? That West Ham have got this conspiracy going on? Yeah, okay, you could say that. But the most obvious answer is the answer. They just haven't bid enough. And it's all very well bleating about it and moaning about it and getting the violin out. If they really want him, they can take him. There's nothing West Ham can do about it. And that's the 85 million. But they also do know the valuation. Everybody, the whole world of football knows the valuation. And that sort of is it. I don't know. I think Eze's release clause, in fact, I don't know. It's somewhere between 60 and 70 million. And Buemo, 65 million. So it's not a release clause, but a valuation. It's about the going rate. I know they both scored more than Kudus last season, but Kudus has got a lot of potential, a lot of promise. And, and we all know how good he is. But as I say, I just wish we would now just get to this point and say, do you know what? That's got to be the final straw. This Tottenham tax accusation's got to be the final straw. Do you know what? Forget it. Absolutely forget it. And I would be petty now. I would be. Probably good job I'm not in charge of a football club. But I would say, nah, you know what? I can't be arsed. I cannot be arsed with it. I'm like this on eBay, by the way, as well. If I agree a price and then, someone then try, well, you agree 40 quid and they say, right, okay, and they'll turn up with 35 quid for the bike that you're selling. No, forget it. Honestly, I'd rather not bother. Probably stubborn. I just think we should say no. Just leave it. No, do you know what? We're going to leave it. We've given you a chance. Sorry, Mo. You're going to have to turn up for training on Monday. And actually just say to him, this lot are not serious. This lot don't want you. If they did, they'd bid the 85 million.